Welcome everyone. In this video, we're going to go ahead and continue working on our reusable TypeScript class that we can use to build the game Connect 4. So previously, in our last part, we went ahead and finished adding in the game logic for checking if players won the game by getting Connect 4. We're going to go ahead and wrap up this series by adding in the last of our game logic for allowing us to return the winning cells from the combination when someone wins the game. And we're going to do some minor code refactoring to go ahead and clean up our code. So if you missed the previous videos, there'll be a link in the description to each of those videos. So for the code for this video can be found in the description of the video, as well as there'll be a link on the screen now to where you get the completed source code. So to go ahead and get started, what we're going to do is we're going to do some minor code refactoring. So what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to go ahead and move all of our types into a new file in our project. And so this will help as our project gets any bigger, so that we're not putting too much code in one file. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead under our source folder. We're going to go ahead and add a new folder, and we're going to call this types. In here, we're just going to make an index.ts file. Then from our Connect 4 file, we're going to go ahead and copy all of our types from here. So we're going to go ahead and grab our coordinate, cell range, Connect 4 error, and our player. Let's go ahead and copy those, and we'll paste them into this file here. Go ahead and save. Go ahead and save. Then what we'll need to do is we'll need to go ahead and import these. So I'm just going to go ahead and add all missing imports, and they should resolve. Then what we'll also want to do is we'll come into our test file, and we'll want to go ahead and update our imports here. Since they'll no longer be in the Connect 4 file, they are going to be in our types file. We'll just go ahead and save. So to make sure we didn't break anything, what we'll do is we'll go ahead and rerun our test real quick. So if we just do yarn test from our terminal, we should see all 35 of our tests are still passing. So now that we went ahead and moved our type definitions to a new file, we're going to go ahead and update our Connect 4 class to have a new property that'll be used for tracking the winning coordinates that make up a Connect 4 on our game board. By adding this new property, anyone that uses our library will be able to do things like show which game pieces were used in a winning Connect 4 combination. So to go ahead and add this functionality, what we're going to do is we're going to add a new private property to the top of our class just called winning cells. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and set this to a type of coordinate. And this is going to go ahead and be a coordinate array. So we'll go ahead and create an initial empty array. So what we'll want to do is go ahead and create a getter for our winning cells property. So what we'll do is we're just going to come below board. We'll do get winning cells. This will return our coordinate array. And we're going to go ahead and do return json.parse. We'll do json.stringify. And we'll go ahead and do this dot winning cells. And we'll go ahead and return that as a coordinate array. So then finally, what we'll want to do is we're going to update all of our existing methods for where we check if the players won the game. And we're going to go ahead and set this property when the player has won. So what we'll do is we'll come to our isHorizontalWin method first. Then what we'll do is we're going to go ahead and update if isWin. We're going to go ahead and do this winning cells will be equal to an object of our column and row. Then we'll have a column, and this will be set to column plus 1. We'll have our row. Then what we'll do is we'll just copy this object, paste it twice, and we'll just change this to column plus 2 and then column plus 3. Go ahead and save. So then what we'll do is we'll go ahead and do this in our isVerticalWin method. So we're just going to copy this block here, come down to isVerticalWin. And what we'll do is if isWin, go ahead and do this. We'll go ahead and change. And so instead of incrementing our columns, what we'll do is we'll go ahead and increment our row. Let's go ahead and do row equal to row plus 1. I'll copy this object and replace our other two. So we'll do row plus 2, row plus 3. So then next we're going to go ahead and update is/win. So we're just going to copy this block of code, come down to is/win. So inside our if statement, go ahead and paste our winning cells code. And so our column will actually be equal to our temporary column. Our row will be equal to our temporary row. And then for our column, this will be equal to our temp column plus 1. Our row will be our temp row minus 1. Then we'll go ahead and copy that object and replace our other two. And we'll go ahead and increment these, and we'll decrement the other values. And finally, we'll go ahead and do this in our last method. So our is/win, and paste this in here. And we'll go ahead and flip these values. All right, and so we'll go ahead and paste our values. And then what we'll want to do is we're going to want to go ahead and decrement our columns, since we are checking to the left. And then for our rows, because we're moving upwards, we'll go ahead and leave those and we'll subtract them. All right, we'll go ahead and save. And then what we'll do is let's just go ahead and rerun our test, make sure we didn't break anything. Perfect. All right, so with our last change in place, the last thing we want to do is go ahead and add tests to validate our addition of the winning cells logic. So to do this, we're going to go ahead and update our existing test to validate that we have the correct values for the winning cells property, and we'll add a few new tests to validate this property when the game instance is created and when the game state is reset. So in the description of the video, there'll be a link to a gist that will have the updated test file, and also a link on the video now. So instead of updating each test one by one, we're just going to go ahead and copy over this file and replace our current test file. So what we'll do is we're going to take this code, we're going to go ahead and replace all the code in our test connect for file. We're going to go ahead and save. What we'll do is we're going to go ahead and run our test. What we should see when we're done, there should be 37 tests now, and all of them should pass. So at a high level, what we did is for each of our data attributes here, we went ahead and checked that our winning cells property is actually set into those values. All right, with our test updated, our Connect 4 library is now complete, and we can go ahead and start using our library to create different implementations of the game Connect 4. So if you want to go ahead and use your library, what you'll want to do is run the npm run build command, and what this will do is it's going to build your dist folder here, which will be the compiled version of all of our code. So it'll be done using TSC. And so you could copy this dist folder over into your other projects if you want to just use the code that way. If you want to go ahead and publish it up to npm, what you'll want to do is go ahead and update the scope for where the package will be published, and you should be able to go ahead and publish that up relatively easily. If you are interested in using a published version of the package, there'll be a link down in the description of the video of where you can find this on npm. And so with that, that wraps up this video. Now that we've completed our Connect 4 library, in future videos, we'll go ahead and see how we can use this library to go ahead and build some actual implementations of the game Connect. As always, thank you so much for watching. I hope you really enjoyed the content. Just as a reminder, there'll be a link in the description to where you can find the complete source code, as well as on the screen now. If you did enjoy the content, please consider leaving a like, a subscribe, or leaving a comment down below. If you're interested in more great content, please go ahead and check out some of the videos that are on the screen now.